Evening folks, this is Best in Slot with your monthly update for Prehistoric Kingdom. We're going to be taking a look at the devlog number 20 for August 2019, and it's a pretty big one, so grab yourself a drink, buckle up, we're going to be here for a little while. Now, I am going to try something a little different this week. Usually I put a lot of work into these devlogs and I take out each image and take out every single video and I write a script and all that, and some people like that, but some people prefer the slightly more casual approach and a quicker update. So if we do this going forward, I'll be able to do these the day the devlog comes out. If people prefer the older method a lot, I will listen to you guys in the comments completely. Just let me know in the comments down below and I will go back to how we used to do it. But for this month at least, we're going to try this out. My schedule is a little hectic right now and this does save me quite a lot of time. Also lets me be lazy, which is my #1 favourite thing to do. So let's have a look at the devlog for August 29. We're just going to go through, we're going to read it, we're going to react to it together. I've seen a little bit of it, but not all of it. First things first, we have the pre-alpha trailer. Go away, YouTube. We have the pre-alpha trailer that was, just showing where the game is right now. It looks really cool. Let's take a look at this. I will shut up for a minute, as hard as that may be. And that's it, folks. Not really tons of new information or anything to analyse there, but I do want to point out one bit in particular, which is the mammoths. Now, I think the polar environment and the polar textures are actually new. We're going to look at those later on into the video. But this mammoth exhibit is just absolutely, it's just perfect. And that is unlike anything else we have in video games right now. It really is doing something unique by bringing in these non-dinosaur prehistoric creatures. You can just see the... I love those baobab trees as well. You can just see the extent of the customization and the creativity that we'll have control over. And this is, pre-alpha. This is the basics of what is going to be doable in the game. I really like having the, this kind of savanna baobab tree environment over here, and then right next to it we've got the mammoths in this much more glacial environment. Aesthetically, the game reminds me quite a lot of Zoo Tycoon 2. I think if you took that screenshot right there, other than maybe the ocean in the background and a couple of things here and there, you could say that is like a modern version of Zoo Tycoon 2. It really is very, very similar. If you had an if you took the Extinct Animals expansion pack and the Dinosaur expansion pack for Zoo Tycoon 2, brought them into the modern age, I think that's kind of what, hopefully, Prehistoric Kingdom is going to be. That's definitely the feeling I get from the trailer. The aesthetic look of it is very, very similar in my opinion. Very realistic in a lot of ways. There's a couple of new screenshots for the store, nothing particularly to look at here, just more trees, the dinosaurs looking lovely, and mammoths looking lovely. They're over at PAX West at the moment, so if you have been there, although I am a few days late on this one, if you have been there, hopefully you've been able to play the game. I would love to hear from any of you who went to PAX West and managed to get your hands on Prehistoric Kingdom. Please do talk to me in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the game so far, which is of course still, like I say, pre-alpha. And they also had, I think Critivo, their publishers, they're pushing the advertising budget a little bit further than maybe Prehistoric Kingdom would have been able to otherwise. And we get things like this animatronic dinosaur that people can ride and stuff like that, which is just generally speaking very, very cool. It's nice to see that they're able to properly showcase the game, something that maybe wouldn't have been doable otherwise. Looks really cool. Moving on, there's some live streams coming on later this month, developer live streams, so if you want to check those out and talk to the devs, you'll be able to do that at those times right there. We shall move on. So next we're going to look at the development progress chart. This is the thing we usually open the video with, where it shows how far in progress each aspect of the game is. They're working on finalising pre-alpha 1 and then moving on to pre-alpha 2 pretty soon. We're not even in the alpha build quite yet. There is a long way to go for this game. Development is definitely taking a long time, but greatness often takes a long time, as I kind of test to other people. So what they're focusing on at the moment, they're going to focus on new creative features such as elevated paths, very exciting, and brand new modular building tools. They're going to focus on the animals with their basic behaviours, new animations, adding more animals, and of course dozens of micro sounds to bring them to life. So we can take a look at the actual chart, which I can actually show you guys properly. Usually you have to kind of squeeze it in halves and stuff like that, and it's a little bit awkward. We're 76% of the way through the pre-alpha one. Oh, by the way, I love that they're doing this. This is just such cool open development that I wish more devs would do. I can see why they don't all do it, and I think it's easier as an indie game, although are they technically an indie game anymore? But either way, it's very, very cool. Technically not an indie game anymore. That's another point. Anyways, it looks really cool. There's really not much to do. Building systems need adaptive foundations. Fence system just needs a replacement system, and then the addition of adding objects to the fences, if I'm reading that right. Additive object snapping, as in attaching things onto the fences for decoration purposes or maybe utility purposes, we don't know. The path system needs a little bit of love. It seems replacement is a big thing at the moment. The modular system doesn't say anything about that. Not in the game quite yet. Scale, rotate, translate, and recoloring. That's obviously your objects in the game. You're going to be able to recolor them. You're going to be able to resize them. You're going to move them around. That needs adding as well. Our creative tools primarily over here. Fence assets are nearly there. Structure assets are 100% done. So many 28 types of fence in the alpha. That's crazy. Terraforming is getting there. They have mentioned a few times in this that they're going back to the water painting. That's going to be a focus. And then brush selection and custom brushes. Again, just more tools that you really don't see anywhere else in video games. It's really exciting to me. The climates are nearly done. Tropical, dry, temperate, oceanic, and subpolar, which is the one being worked on right now. Need a little bit of love. And so far, 6 of the animals in the game are kind of implemented. They just need, they're all getting their basic needs added, their need for food, their need for water, and there's still 9 more dinosaurs / other animals that need to come in and have their locomotion properly done and stuff like that. But they've all made, all 15 creatures are ready to go. And we're going to have a little look at the locomotion and pathing. So they've added something new called root motion. I will admit I don't particularly know what root motion is. It greatly reduces sliding by controlling movement speeds through animation instead of code, which is interesting. And we're going to get a little look at this in a second. It says, and we'll focus on this in a moment, animals don't just path in a straight line either. They can turn while standing still, walking or running to create an organic and unpredictable look as creatures respond appropriately to the change in direction. Now that's actually really exciting. I don't want to keep bringing up other, rival games, inverted commas. I don't really consider them rival games. Jurassic World Evolution has a lot going for it, but its dinosaur movement is kind of weird. Dinosaurs, when they're walking, are fine, but when they run, they tend to run in a straight line, and then they come to a really awkward stop. It's either running really quick or walking really slowly, and in straight lines, and the stopping's awkward. The movement feels a little bit stilted. We're going to take a little look at the basic animal movement and navigation here. This is a very, very short video, it doesn't show much, but it's worth looking at, because it does have this really nice organic feel to it. There's one particular prehencephaly that I want you guys to focus on. It's on the right hand side, not this one in front, that one in the back. And go back to that again. You want to look at this grey one here. As it turns that corner, you can see it is moving, it's turning whilst walking, and it just looks... I know this doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is, because it's turned around that corner, and now it's going to walk straight forward. It just has this very organic, real feel to it. And honestly, it's a fundamental thing to making your animals feel alive and genuine. It's really, really important. It's really nice, smooth animation, which again is fundamental. Anyways, I'm now going to add more complex behaviors and features. So, fence and path system next. You see, I've seen a few of these. I did try to do this video before and kind of screwed it up, so this is attempt number 2. I'll tell you when it's new stuff for me. So they've added a new arc curve system to the pathing, to the fencing and the pathing rather than the beziers, and we're going to see those in action right here. Nice and simple, this really. Kind of nothing we haven't seen before, but you can toggle between straight and curved, and then you just curve them together. Looks, I mean, what else would you want from a fence system, really? I like how it's kind of jolting onto each of these individual bits. It's not like one bit here, one bit here. I mean, it might depend on the fence type. If you've got concrete where it's more of a long line, we'll have to see how that works. But for these, at least, it's jumping onto each individual sort of little pillar. It's also worth noting there is a snapping angle tool down here in the bottom right. We're going to take a look at that in a moment. One thing we're not going to see, but I want to bring up, is this terraced option right here. Now, I don't know anything about this, but if I had to assume from the look of it, from this terraced, I would assume that maybe it's when the fences are going up a hill, and you can either have a line sort of go straight up, or you could have it go like this. Hopefully you can see my mouse. You know, but it's like a staircase off the fence where it goes up and across and up and across and up and across. If you think back to JPOG, if you're putting a fence up a hill, I think that's kind of what it would look like. I think that might be the kind of idea there, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it looks perfectly nice. It's, you know, what you'd want from a fence system. Not really much to add on that. And this is the angle snap. The angle snap is actually really cool. What this does is let you set an angle, put the fence in, and the fence will conform to that angle. So if you have a 90-degree angle and you put 4 fences in and you go in the right direction, you'll make a square, a perfect square, right? So that's the idea. That's going to make it really easy to make sort of geometric designs and shapes. So this is without angle snap. You can see you can put in any angle you want. It's going to put on the angle snap at 45 degrees. And now if you wanted, you can make a perfect, basically like octagon from that kind of thing. It's 90 degrees, so again, if you want to make a square from this, like you can see. I think that's a great little system. I mean, it's a little system, it's a small thing, but again, it's something I haven't really seen before, and having that level of control is going to make elaborate designs a little bit easier. It can be very difficult sometimes on multiple park builders to make that perfect exhibit shape. Now, if you wanted a series of hexagons, all kind of the same exact size and shape and all linking together to make your exhibits, you could do that exact same thing. The point is player control. That's really the emphasis, and that's an emphasis that I really personally appreciate. Terraforming! Terraforming received additional polish with some light height constraints implemented on smaller bush sizes to create a more realistic shape to hills and mountains. Now, I'm not sure what that means. We'll check out the video. It doesn't really showcase that, as far as I can tell. They're just raising some terrain, sticking some dirt in there. I think some people might mention, and you'll see this again in a moment, that the blending between the grass and the dirt is very, very straight line. It's very, very harsh. This is 100% brush intensity. If you lower that intensity down, you'll be able to sort of blend things together quite a lot more. We have actually seen that blending system in past videos, so if you haven't seen that already, go check out my past Prehistoric Kingdom videos. I think it was in last month's video, so don't panic about that. The terrain blending can actually look really, really cool. It's just here it looks a little bit odd, but they're just showcasing the tools. So yeah, I'm not really sure what that means. To me, I'm reading that as the smallest brushes in the game don't work at higher and higher sizes. The idea being that you can't create very odd looking mountains, I guess. I don't really get that in my head. Maybe it's the other way around, but it says there's height constraints implemented on smaller brush sizes. That to me suggests the smaller brush sizes, the smallest brush sizes, can't be used at the highest heights, or can't build things to super, super big heights. Otherwise you'd be able to have like a teeny tiny mountain that goes really, like a mountain that's like 2 inches wide, go up 1,000 feet or something like that, which would look totally ridiculous. So I think that's probably what that means, although I don't really have a guarantee. Well, also available for building placement, blah, 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 they've added a toggle. This is actually pretty cool. So basically what this will do is lock your camera to the center of the screen to your mouse cursor, basically. Well, the camera will move with the mouse cursor, but the mouse cursor is locked to the middle of the screen. So you'll move the camera, but not the cursor anymore. It's always dead center. So it gives you this really nice level of control, as you can see here. Right now, the camera's moving, the mouse is locked in the middle. It's kind of like, this is obviously the best metaphor in the world. You know that video you'll have seen with the chicken? He's holding the chicken from below and he moves the body of the chicken, but the head stays in the same place. That's kind of what's going on here. The chicken's head is the mouse, and the chicken's body is the camera system. I think it's actually a pretty good metaphor. Exhibit area info. To make the perfect exhibit creation even easier, basically what they've done here is added the ability to click on a fence for an exhibit, for an enclosure, and see all the details within it, and to rename that enclosure as well. So I don't know why this is here in the middle. It's kind of a weird build, but this area around it, this is an enclosure, and you'll be able to give it a name, be able to see the paddock size, you'll be able to see how intense the foliage and stuff like that is. So you'll be able to click on it and instantly see whether it's appropriate for the dinosaurs you've got contained within it. Plus, it's always fun being able to rename our exhibits to what we would like them to be. There is a new building shader in place, and I need to sneeze. There's a new building shader in place, which looks really nice. You can see here. they've started adding a lighting system, an emissive lighting system at night. And the idea is this new shade is going to allow them to do that. Now this looks really cool. I'm assuming, or at least hoping, that eventually these buildings will give off their own light as well. You know, you'd want to see the areas around here and here and here around the base of the tower lit up because of the lights within those. But I love this kind of thing. Seeing that distinction between day and night come to life looks really, really cool. And hopefully they do light the area up really nicely as well. Now, moving on to the species spotlight. 5 new creatures this week. Some really, really cool ones as well. Let's get started. First up, Gallimimus bullatus. Apologies that these are a little small, by the way. I did open these in other tabs first of all to check if that would work, but these are just small images this month for some reason. But still, we can read this. I can totally read that. Gallimimus, preferred climate tropical dry, period Cretaceous, digs like Flaming Cliffs, Mongolia. We've got a few nice skins here. The Gallimimus looks great. Of course, we had that new... Sorry, my voice has gone mental. We've got that new feather, furry kind of shaded. That was not furry. That was brought in the past couple of months. We already saw the effect on that on the Dinosaur Redux last month, where these feathered dinosaurs start to look really cool. Gallimimus was one of the benefits of that. Doesn't really have big requirements in any way, I would say. Social group is 4 to 15, which is... you're going to have to put a little bit of work in there, but generally speaking, Gallimimus, as a 3-star, is still one of the easier dinosaurs to control. We're only on 3-star dinosaurs now. We've gone through all the 2-stars, we've gone through the 3-stars, then the 4-stars, and the 5-stars. It is in order. Next up on the list, we have a beautiful looking Styracosaurus. Gorgeous colours. We've got some quills along the back, which I really like. The elaborate frills, of course, on the horn. Maybe my favourite ceratopsid so far. Very small social group of 1 to 2 animals. Fairly decent security recommendations of 35%. There's a psychedelic skin and a shoreline skin there. That shoreline skin looks absolutely beautiful. I know you can't see it much there, but we will down the line, of course. It does need the exact same size of paddock as the Gallimimus. Has much bigger range of foliage density that it'll accept, but much, much smaller social group. Moving on to Daedon Shoshonensis. And again, smaller paddock size for a Daedon. Social group is 1 to 5. Privacy smaller. Again, Daedon is probably out of the 3 actually the easiest dinosaur. Maybe up there with the Gallimimus. One of the easier creatures, I should say, not dinosaurs, to look after. Looks really nice. The Hell Pig, as poor Daedon is known. I don't think he deserves that, but he is a large carnivorous pig. So, yeah, pretty terrifying, the Daedon. Moving on, Carnotaurus. Look at Carnotaurus. Beautiful. Why all these are better than the Uteranus, by the way, is an absolute mistake. I've already told the devs Uteranus should be a 5-star dinosaur. I'm hoping to see that changed. Minimum paddock size, we go a little bit bigger. And you can see here the needs of the Carnotaurus, generally speaking, are smaller. The bars are smaller. The position of the bar, like the lower the bar is, doesn't necessarily denote easiness of implementation. But the size of the bar, the range of the bar, kind of does, because you need to get your foliage, for example, into the exact right position, but it also limits what other dinosaurs could possibly live with that dinosaur or prehistoric creature, because if you've got a very limited range of foliage, the chance of crossover becomes a lot lower. So that's just worth keeping an eye out on. Social group again is only 1 to 2. Privacy needs are much higher than the others, 60% for the Carnotaurus. It's a very private dinosaur, and again, the security recommendations go up to 30, which I believe is actually lower than the Styracosaurus. Styracosaurus is a unit though. Finally, we have Velociraptor Mongoliensis. Minimum paddock size is teeny tiny, although that's per dinosaur. Of course, with raptors you're going to want... I was going to say you're going to want a pack, but the social group is 1 to 2, so it shows what I know. But they are very private dinosaurs, 70%, and decent foliage density up to 30% as well. Lovely looking. Of course, you're going to want a kind of arid Mongolian desert looking environment for the raptor. It makes sense you wouldn't want tons of foliage. Doesn't want tons of water either. Does not favour that kind of environment. Social group only 1 to 2, which is surprising. You always think of Velociraptors as pack animals, but I think we can all blame Jurassic Park for that. Moving on. Hard. So, yes, I was meant to mention this before with the mammoths. The subpolar has been the focus for the texture artists and foliage artists, Nathan, basically, at the moment, for this month. And it really does look really cool. It's got this very, well, subpolar kind of look to it. It really did look, we saw it before, the mammoths. That's why I wanted to bring attention to the mammoths, because I really do think it looks pretty beautiful. There you go, there's all the foliage in one place for the subpolar climate. You can see here again, we've got these multiple textures. We've got like a snow, we've got like a rocky ice, and then here, this is actually an ice patch with a little bit of snow over the top, and you can see it shining here between the leaves and stuff like that. And that combination of dirt and grass, but then these big white patches of hard ice looks really nice. And if we look at this image right here in particular, you can see we've got this dirt here with kind of like tread marks in it, and it blends in really. I just want to emphasize the blending, because the blending is awesome. We have seen it before, and it blends in beautifully into this icy patch on the right hand side. So the icy patch shouldn't necessarily look like a new place, it should look like it's laid over the existing terrain a little bit more, and I think that kind of does the job there really well. Moving on. Well, we went back to optimize all foliage in the game. Quite a few changes were made to the tropical wet plants to make them visually diverse and interesting. And they are lovely. I love me a fern. Who doesn't love a good fern, nerds? Now that all 64 plants and 32 terrain textures are in the game, we've had great results when mixing and matching the various climates to create a more diverse landscape. We invite creativity when building your paddocks and greatly await seeing the user-made creations in the future. And there they are. All 8 of them come together into 8 distinct various exhibits. Doesn't that look really cool? We've got our subpolar one down here, what looks like a taiga kind of forest in the top left, more of a savanna in the top right, and then again a similar one in the bottom right. Temperate forest and tropical wet, tropical dry. It looks beautiful. We've got a great variety, tons of different foliage, some big trees, some little trees, and they all look appropriate for that sort of area. You know, the baobabs really stick out in the top right. The bottom left doesn't have, the subpolar just does not have big trees. This is the biggest tree they have, this guy right here, who really isn't anything that impressive because it's subpolar. It shouldn't be dense with foliage. If you want that in a more Arctic environment, you're going to want to use the taiga here in the top left. It's just very cool. We also have 17 path textures, and we've got 2 new ones with a ammonite path and a footprint path, which is just, I don't know, it's just classic, right? A footprint path to me is absolute classic. It takes me again back to Zoo Tycoon 2. Audio, music. I want to create new sounds for the Prehistoric as well as general game audio. Byron wrote a new piece specifically for the teaser trailer titled Building the Impossible. We hope you enjoyed the track. How long is it, Byron? It's actually the music we heard before, but it's beautiful. Go lick it. Don't go lick it. Go listen to that on the website for yourselves. Animal Showcase. Again, we have more animal redux. Our Velociraptor Mongoliensis has been brought to life because obviously again we've got new shaders and stuff like that. New designs, flashy display crest as well. On this second one in particular, I think it stands out. You see this crest of feathers above the head of the dinosaur, really showcasing that feathery goodness. Is that the insightful analysis you come here for? God, it's just one of those days, folks. And yeah, I mean, you can see the old and new. The difference between the two, let's have a little look. We've got much longer tail, first of all, and a much featherier tail. There's much more feathers on the tail, is what I'm trying to get across here. The snout looks thicker, you can see more feathering above the eyes, the head looks bigger in general, I think the neck looks a little bit thicker as well. The dinosaur itself is a little bit on the larger side. It's just, the feathers, it just looks better, it looks featherier. Is that a word? It is now. It looks more realistic. We've got the same with the Gallimimus, Boutros Ghali, Bulatus, which just, you know, we've already taken a good look at earlier on in the video. So, we're going to have another look at a gameplay system. Last time I think we looked at the storms. Today we're going to be looking at staff management. Whilst players can manually perform certain tasks such as refilling food troughs and emptying trash cans, workers will complete tasks based on their job description to make zoo automation easier. So we've got animal keepers, maintenance workers and park rangers. I think we can assume what that's going to be. This is going to be veterinary work and, you know, feeding our animals, stuff like that. This is going to be fixing things, and our park ranger is there for when our dinosaurs and other creatures inevitably break out, because we definitely wouldn't do that on purpose, would we? No. At launch, staff will be divided into 3 main jobs. Just emphasis at launch, so maybe we'll get more staff types down the line. Animal keepers care for animals in the environment, refilling feeders, cleaning poop, checking their health. Maintenance workers collect trash, repair structures, and improve the speed at which buildings are constructed. And park rangers act as the primary security division within the park. They can use lethal force or tranquilizers to subdue animals and are required for moving animals across the park. Skills. As staff members perform various jobs, their skill level will begin to increase, gradually doubling the speed at which tasks are completed. Points will be added to one of 3 unique skill types depending on what they're undertaking. Okay, so each type of... you can see here, everyone's got like 3 main jobs. So animal keepers, for example, want to refill feeders, they want to clean up poop, and they want to check on the health of the dinosaurs. And as they do those tasks, they'll become quicker at those individual tasks. So you could potentially even specialize people like force Jim here to clean up, do nothing but clean up poop. And eventually Jim will be the quickest poop cleaner about. I think a lot of this would partially as well... Let's say you can assign staff to specific exhibits. If you had a staff member looking after a much bigger exhibit than another staff member who's looking after, say, just a handful of dinosaurs, that first staff member is going to accrue their skills much quicker because they're using them a lot more often. It's interesting. It's going to be an interesting system. It's completely passive, but you should keep your staff happy to increase the working speed. Next month, tune in for specialization for staff management. Very exciting. And they're going to get working on staff in pre-alpha 2. These aren't in the game yet. This is planned content, essentially. And we've got a few. We usually skip these, but I'll show you these very quickly. Some people do just beautiful fan art and creations for the game. There's something on the floor. So we'll take a little look at that. We've got Fred Rerum, who bringing in I definitely butchered your name, Fred, I'm very sorry. Some beautiful Smilodon Fatalis kind of going on here. We've got a Terrorbird by the Doctor. We've got an Edmontosaurus by Dino DJ. Beautiful. I actually really like that visual style. We've got some Mammoths by AD. Look at the little baby. We've got a T-Rex by Dino DJ again. Dino DJ, I really like your style. Well done. Someone has gotten, Rainbow Dinosaur 789 has gotten themselves a Crowny tattoo. Crowny, of course, is the new Prehistoric Kingdom logo. And that is it, folks. That is the devlog for August 2019. This video was definitely longer than I anticipated. Apparently, when I don't script, I talk even more. So the benefits of this going down the line, honestly, I sat down to script to write this video as normal, and that was definitely the plan until I decided to give this a go. It's completely up to you guys. If you guys want me to go back to the usual style, I'm happy to do that. If you prefer this more casual style, I'm happy to do this as well. The benefits of this for me is it is definitely less work. I kind of like this kind of chilling and reacting to things with you guys a little bit more, even if I do get lost in my words every now and again. So that's 2 reasons, and the third is simply I'll be able to do it quicker. The other style of video takes quite a long time, quite a few hours that I don't always have available on the day of the devlog, which doesn't always land on, well, maybe it does always land on the same day, but I don't know. But the point is, I don't always happen to have the hours on that exact same day. Whereas this, I can easily sit down for half an hour and just talk and crank out the video, right? So I will be able to do it going forward on the exact day. The benefit of the other video, of course, is it'll be shorter, more concise, probably better spoken. I can edit a little bit more and stuff like that. It is up to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Go give the Prehistoric Kingdom devs a little bit of love. Hopefully we'll have something more to show you guys on that very soon, but we shall see. And I'm just really excited to keep an eye on the game. The game's looking absolutely beautiful. It's really cool that we've got another great park builder, dinosaur park builder on the way. And other prehistoric animals. The mammoths are like my favourite part of this entire devlog. The mammoths in their polar... Well, that's what we'll do as well. Start doing a little vote. What is the best part of the devlog? For me, seeing the mammoths in their polar environment, this right here with that beautiful little structure, highlight of the day for me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers myself as always. Bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.